Hey guys, now let's discuss about the break statement in the JavaScript. So the break statement, as we all know, if you know the basics, C programming or other basic programming languages, other programming languages, you will know what break statement is. But I will explain it anyway in this video. So even if you don't know, you can I will explain it for you. So, what is break statement is break statement is generally used to stop the execution. It terminates the execution. Okay, if there is a loop, it is used to if you use the break statement. Generally, it terminates the execution, and the execution stops there. Okay, or switch this statement when condition is true. So let me show this. So to come out of the block, so here we have switch block. So switch block is why do we need to use break with switch? So generally we know what switch block is. So if you even if you don't know, I will explain it to you. But we use break statement in the switch block. Okay, if we are using switch, we use the break statement. So here even we use it in a for loop. Okay, I will demonstrate it for you in the play like in the form of example. So how does break work? So generally if there is a for loop here, so we initialized our for loop, we written a code, we written a condition to break. So if this condition, if this enters this, if condition is passed, then it comes out of it goes into this if statement, it goes into this and it executes. So here it breaks the execution, and the execution just terminates and it comes out of this loop. Okay, so generally to stop the loop or to stop the execution, to terminate the execution, we use the break statement. So let me show it in the form of example. Okay. So here let's try to see an example on this. um, we can in switch, let's first try to see in the switch statement, in the switch, then we can see in the for loop. So in the switch statement, so let's try to first take some const, some fruit. Okay, fruit equal to apple. So here we are defining what we want. Okay, so we are writing a switch statement, switch of fruit. So in this we are writing case apple, case apple. So here, so if this is apple, what you have to print is console.log of apple is selected. Okay, whatever apple is selected, or you can write anything. Okay, so now let's write another case. Let's write case mango. Okay, so here let's write console.log of mango is selected. And now mango is selected. So now you can break this. So that means once the mango is selected, you can break it. We are breaking it. So now let's write some default. This is default case, right? So in the default case, let's write console.log of no fruit is chosen. Chosen. Okay. No fruit is chosen. Okay. So now let's try to run this and let's see. So now what we got here, apple is selected, mango is selected. So now after mango is selected, the state like the loop was broken here. the execution is terminated, and it didn't enter this statement. It didn't enter this statement. And what happened is it's just stopped there, and no fruit chosen does is not printed there. Okay. So generally what we are doing here is, let me remove this break statement to explain this to you. So let me start this. So now what we got, we didn't use the break statement. So now all three of them are executed. Okay. So you can use the break statement in the for loop, and you can also use it in the while or and do while loop. Okay. So let's see in the while and do while loop how it works. So generally while of condition. So that means the while and there is a condition, if condition to break, so if there is a condition to break, then it enters the loop. So it is same as for loop, how we demonstrated it, used it for the for loop. So in do while loop we write do here and while here. So again we write a condition, if there is a condition to break then we say just break. Okay. And there is also one more thing concept called break with labels. So what is this? So break with labels in JavaScript we use a break statement with a label to exit from a specific loop. To exit from a specific loop. Even if it's nested inside another loop, this is useful when you need to break out of a nested loop structure. And just using the simple break would only exit the innermost loop. So here, let me show this with for you guys. So for example, let's write a label here. It's really annoying. I don't know, something is like really annoying here. This, okay. So now let's write a label called outer loop. So in this label, let's write a for loop. So in this for loop, let's take let I equal to 0, I equal to 0, I less than 3, and I plus plus, and for loop let j equal to 0, j less than j plus plus. Okay, j plus plus equal to, if like we are writing a condition here, if I equal to 1, j equal to 1, then we have to break the outer loop. So what we are doing here is we are just breaking the outer loop, and now console dot log off. So that means, let me write everything and let me show you. Dollar I comma some j dollar j. Okay. So now what is happening here? So what we're doing is we return here outer loop, a label called outer loop. So in this is the thing here, this is the thing here. This for loop is inside this outer loop. So in this label we have this one, this piece of code. So now what we're doing, if I equal to 1 and j equal to 1, then we are asking it to break the outer loop. So that means this loop stops execution. This loop stops, and yeah, it just stops. So now here what we are printing is I value. Each time we are printing the I value. So whenever we want to print something, which is inside something like we are printing I value and we are printing J value. So this is what we use. We use this dollar symbol. So now let's try to run this and show you guys. Okay, there is something missing there. Oh my god. I think I don't know what is missing here. So let me try to run this. Okay, guys, let's continue where we stopped. So this is Chilean. This is I don't know why it is showing the error. Let's try to run this again. It is showing there is like something missing there. What is missing? Syntax error. So 57. What is error? Hello, madam. This is. I don't know why it is like. So let me run this. It's giving us some error. Again, in the place of I, it's giving some error. So let me. God. Yeah. I don't know where it's showing all the errors here. Okay, we have for I we have like 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0. So that means whenever these two are equal to 1, I equal to 1, j equal to 1, what happened is the outer loop is terminated. We broke the outer loop. So we broke the outer loop. So what happened here is first the for loop is in the zeroth I equal to 0 and j equal to 0. Okay, so here I equal to 0 and j equal to 1. So we placed it up to 3, right? So and I equal to 0 and j equal to 2. So now I equal to 1. So after it iterated 3 times, the inner loop it iterates 3 times, right? So it iterates 3 times, like once for each one iteration of the outer for loop, the inner for loop iterates 3 times, right? So here again, the iteration started here. The inner iteration ended. Now the outer for loop started iterating again. So now I became 2. I became 1. Okay. So now 1 and 0. So whenever it hit the 1 and 1. Okay. I equal to 1 and j equal to 1, then the outer loop is broken. Okay, that means the whole program, once outer loop is broken or broke, like we break the outer loop, then the whole program is stopped. The whole program stopped executing. Execution stopped. The execution just ended. Okay, yeah, guys. That's it. Okay, so that is the label. So that means we put the label. That means this is the label. So that means whatever we put in the label, it just stops. Okay, so the program, entire program stopped executing. So yeah, even if it's nested inside another loop, it is very useful when you need to break out of a nested structure. Just using a simple break without only exit the innermost. So without exiting the innermost loop, we can exit the outer for loop. So here we have the JavaScript continue statement. So what is continue statement is used to break the iteration of the loop and follow with the next iteration. So let me show it for you. So it's generally how it works is, so here we have a for loop, so it is iterating. So what happens is, if we have a certain condition, then what happens is continue. So it continues. Okay, it continues executing a for loop. A for loop continues executing. So now what happens in the continue is, once we have the continue, what happens is it doesn't execute the other lines of code. So if we have some lines of code here, for example, it doesn't execute this line of code. What it does is it starts again from beginning. Okay, that's the difference between that's continue. Okay, so let me show it. So instead of break, in the same example, let's write, instead of break, let's write continue, and let me show you what happens. So break means the enter program terminates, but continue, what happens with the continue is, generally it starts from beginning. Okay, it stops executing from the next line, and it again starts from beginning. Okay, look at that. So whenever it hits 1 comma 1, it stopped executing. So then again 2 comma 0 started, and 2 comma 1 started, and 2 comma 1 and 2 comma 2, everything happened. So that's what break statement is. I mean continue statement is, not break statement. So this is about break and continue. So as I explained you, the major difference between them, and using continue in the while loop. So generally using continue in the while loop, there's nothing to use continue in the while loop. I mean, it's very like, so let me show you. It's very simple, guys. In the place of for, let's put while, that's it, okay? Or otherwise, let's do one thing. Let's take this off. Let's write a while statement here. While statement here. So I less than 10. So if there is I less than 10, then what we have to do is, if there is I less than 10, then what you have to do is, we have to increment the I value. Okay, so now if I let's write a condition is, if I equal to 2, for example, continue, that means the 2 value doesn't print here. Okay, yeah, that's it. Let's try to run this and let's see what's happening here. Okay, there is an error, so let me remove this. And did I close the while loop? Yeah. I is not defined. Okay, sorry guys. I have to define the I value. So let's start from 1 and it prints up to 10. But it doesn't print 2 because we continued. We skipped this step. Okay. So this is demonstrating for while loop. So next we have conditional statements. So I'm going to explain this in the next video. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much and bye guys.